Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up and disassemble this HP laptop model 15-BS013DX. Alright, so anyways, I don't think there's any other information on this, but yeah, HP notebook, HP laptop. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and start taking this thing apart. This thing's running really slow. I found out it's actually a bad hard drive. The customer thought it was a virus or something, but anyways, let's go ahead and take it apart. So first things first, remove the battery, slide these two tabs towards the center. You can see it pops out like that. Then you just carefully pull it out. Wow, it's kind of dirty in there. Let me clean this up a little bit. All right, got a trash can off to my side. I'm just gonna brush the crumbs into there. Okay, all right, so battery model number is JC03. It's right there in super tiny print, JC03. Okay, we're gonna set that aside. Okay, let me actually clean more of this dust and gunk out of here real quick. Okay, this, I'm probably gonna have to take it apart, or when I take it apart, I'm probably gonna have to clean out a lot of dirt and dust from there, judging by all those crumbs. All right, they hide screws under here, so we are going to have to take the little rubber feet off. We're most likely going to be using a JIS1 for most of this, so let's go ahead and take these rubber feet off. So I just use my fingernails and kind of pry underneath. You can use small flathead screwdriver or whatever works for you, plastic pry tools or whatnot. All right, anyways, we're going to pry this up, carefully peel this out. All right, hopefully. Okay, the adhesive is separating from the rubber pad, so that's not going to work well. All right, we're going to have to get underneath there and try and pull up the adhesive. Okay, so you can see here. I'm going to try and get under there with my tweezers, and oh, okay, it just tore. But anyways, let's go ahead and peel this. Now that we got part of it removed, we can peel this out, and there you go. You can see the screw hole right there. Okay, we're going to try and remove this one as well. Maybe it will be easier to peel up starting from where the screw is, so let's try that. Not really. Okay. Okay, the adhesive is coming out separate. Okay. Something tells me this adhesive isn't very reusable. We'll see if it sticks back on, but it doesn't look like it's going to be very sticky. Okay, they're also hiding screws under these two. The way I know is there's one screw here, but there's nothing here, and then the other screws are here. So most likely they're going to have screws here as well. So let's go ahead and pull up the adhesive on this side as well. Okay, these adhesive things are pretty difficult to peel up, but there we go. Also, the ones down here towards the opening are thinner, so make sure you don't mix them up. Okay, got that, and get this last one out. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so we got all the adhesive strips out, and you can see all the screws. Okay, so next we're going to remove all the screws, obviously, using the JIS1 screwdriver. All right, you want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and length. The way I do that, I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them. So we got 4 going along here, 1 in the middle, 2, and then 3 at the bottom. All right, so let's go ahead and remove all these screws. All right, last one here. Okay, then we got this one here. If you just want to remove the CD drive or optical disk drive, you only need to remove this one screw. And then you can, I just use my fingernail and go up and down as I pull on it, and there we go. And the reason I do that is it kind of wiggles it like that to get it out. So I believe this is about a 9.5 millimeter thickness drive, and it uses the SATA connection. So if you wanted to get one of those second hard drive caddy things to put that in your computer instead of putting back the CD drive, you can do that. A lot of people don't use CD drives anymore, so they opt to do that to add extra storage. All right, anyways, we're going to remove these screws. If you can, I actually highly recommend doing SSD in both slots, or just doing one larger SSD as opposed to putting a spinning disk drive because the spinning disk drives fail a lot easier, especially since you carry the computers around. All right, anyways, we're gonna finish getting all these screws out. If this video helps you out, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. All right, posting a comment also helps because it tells the algorithm to share my videos. But yeah, all right, let's go ahead and pop this out. So we got all the screws out. Next thing we're gonna do, you can see I flipped it around. The camera's on this side, and then you got the palm rest and everything here. So usually what I do, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little groove right there. So I get my fingernails in that. Problem is I cut this one short, so now it's tough. But basically you get your fingernails, or you can use pry tools, in that groove. And then you pull with your fingers and push with your thumbs here, and you can see we can pop this out. Okay, so there you go. All right, some people, they see my videos and tell me to cut my nails, but they're very useful. They make doing this process a lot easier. Okay, then we got this piece here. You want to pull the plastic part out that way as you kind of lift it up. Okay, and that unclips it from the little clips down there. This part can be a little tricky. I don't know, this side doesn't want to come out. Come on. Come on. Yeah, I don't know why that side doesn't want to come out. So we're going to continue working our way over this side first. Okay. All right, so we got most of it up. Continue working our way. Let's see if we can get the back here. There we go. Okay, and now we got this whole corner open. But it's being a little tough here. Sometimes it helps to kind of pull up on here and kind of wiggle this. But let's see. Okay, so pulling up and kind of wiggling it side to side. Actually, it doesn't seem to be working for this one. Wow, this one's really stuck in there. Okay, well, let's see if we can get these clips out. So again, it helps to kind of push it out that way as you're kind of pulling it up, if we can, but it doesn't seem to want to go, so I guess let's just try and pull with more force in here. Wow. Okay, there we go. All right, then this already popped up as well. This one's a little bit risky. It did pop out without any issues, but it was really tough, so there's a good chance you're probably going to end up cracking this, but this one survived, so we did good. All right. Anyways, now we got all the sides up and this, but the middle back doesn't want to come out. So let's see what we can do here. I'm gonna try and pop the whole thing and kind of just wiggle this. And there we go. Okay. And here you can see what it looks like inside. All right. Looks good. I don't see any damage or anything internally, so we should be good there. And actually, it's a lot less dusty than I was thinking. So to clean this, usually I'll just run a brush over it. Like, I'll hold this part a little bit to apply a little resistance, because otherwise when you do it, it just spins around. So you want to do that. And then go the opposite way. So first I go brush this way, and then I brush this way to loosen up the dust. And then I just use an air blower in the vent to blow the dust out. I'm actually going to take it outside and use my electric air blower to do that. And then I'll also get all these little crumbs out if I can. All right, so let me do that real quick, and I'll be back. See you guys in a bit. All right, so I'm back. Here you can see the inside of the computer. We're going to use this as a thumbnail. Okay, you got the keyboard cable here. There's a keyboard backlight connector here, but it's not being used. Let me actually zoom in so you can kind of see better everything. Okay, keyboard backlight could be here. This is the optical disk drive or CD drive. All these connectors, they have these little flip latches that you just flip this up just like that, and then you can pull the cable out. But I'm going to leave it in place because I don't want to like do that. This one has like some, oh, it doesn't have adhesive, it just bends. Okay, but I don't want to risk like damaging anything that doesn't need to be messed with. All right. This one actually has an M.2 slot here, so maybe I should actually clone it to an M.2 SSD because that would be faster. It would run a lot faster than the regular SATA SSD. So there's a M.2. I'm pretty sure it's PCIe NVMe. I'm not 100% sure, but most likely, since it has a SATA hard drive, it's going to be a PCIe NVMe SSD. All right, let me see. You got the DC jack charge port connector here, which runs along underneath. It's kind of a bad design because it looks like it's going to be very difficult to remove if you have to remove it, but it looks like it goes here underneath the wireless card, then back up here, and then goes around here and goes under here. So to remove that, you'd have to remove the LCD LVDS connector, the wireless card, and this, and then you have to unroute all these cables, undo the screws, and then you gotta lift the hinge up. So kind of an annoying design, but that's how it's built. All right, these I just grab the wings and kind of just wiggle it as I pull. If you watch my other videos, you'll see how to do it. Wireless card here, only one antenna. Again, I just pull up from the tail. Again, watch my other videos if you want to see how to do that, because I don't want to mess around with this one since the only thing we're doing is changing the hard drive to an SSD. Okay, LCD LVDS connector here. If you're going to mess with this, after disconnecting the battery, you want to open up the laptop and press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds to drain any residual power. If you don't, there's a very good chance you can fry the cable, the backlight circuit in here, the connector, or even the screen. So you want to be very careful and make sure that you do that. All right, you got the heatsink here for the CPU. CPU is soldered to the motherboard, so you can't replace it. Of course, if you have, some people will ask like if it's possible. If you have if you don't care about your money and you have unlimited money, you can find somebody that can desolder it, basically removing it like one of this. You can see how on this is where you would have a dedicated GPU or video card. And on here, because they didn't put a GPU, you just see this bare thing with these balls of solder. Basically, they would drop the chip on there, would have to hold in a specific place, heat it up enough to melt all the solder, and that's how they would get those chips like the RAM and stuff on there. Okay, you got this connector here. I believe this is actually for the power button that's underneath here, right? Let me, if you're opening this, you want to be very careful opening this up because it's now without the bottom cover, missing some hinges. Yeah, so the power button is there. So I'm pretty sure that's for the power button. Keyboard is held in with all these melted plastic things, so it's very annoying to replace. If you're going to replace the keyboard, you probably would want to replace the whole palm rest assembly and just migrate the motherboard to the new one. All right, so basically you'd have to migrate the screen, the motherboard, everything. I have videos on some models where I actually replace this. I drill out these plastic things and then melt some new plastic in there, but it's a lot of work, and for most people it's not going to be worth the effort. Okay, there's 2 slots for RAM, but only one's being used. We're going to pull this out by pulling those 2 tabs to the side. Pops up, and then you can take a look. It's an 8 gig PC4 2400T. All right, so that's the RAM. We're going to get it back in, add an angle like this, and then click it down. All right, so here you can see the speaker here connects with this little cable, and then there's a wire that goes from that speaker to the other one. Okay, you got the CMOS BIOS RGC battery here. It's a CR2032, very standard in desktops. All right, a lot of laptops don't use that anymore, but yeah. All right, then you got the touchpad buttons here, and then the touchpad connects to this board with another cable. Then you got the hard drive connector here, and then you got this cable running along underneath for the USB port, SD card reader, and then the 2 LEDs here. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if I don't think I have a 480 or 500 gig M.2 SSD, so I will probably have to end up using the 2.5-inch SATA hard drive that I already cloned. Let me see if I have one. I'll be back. Yeah, I only have 1 terabyte versions of that, so the customer, because they don't really want to spend that much, we're gonna use the SATA one. Okay, so there's 1 screw holding the hard drive in place. Then we can lift this up slightly. Don't lift it too high or you'll break this. Right, so we lift it up slightly and kind of just wiggle it as we kind of pull. Okay, and you can see it pops out. Then you have this metal bracket that holds the hard drive in place. We're going to transfer that over. Okay, also this laptop is a i3 processor, so having a super fast hard drive SSD is probably not going to make too much difference versus the SATA SSD. All right, anyways, we took those 2 screws off. This came off. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and grab this. If you have a spinning hard drive, I highly recommend upgrading to an SSD. They make a huge speed difference. All right, it doesn't matter what kind of processor and other hardware you have. If you don't have a SSD, your computer is going to run super slow. So Maybe you'll be used to that speed, but once you put an SSD and see the difference, you'll wonder why they don't even come with it. Some laptops or computers come with SSDs now, but then the ones that they come with aren't very good. So yeah, it's always a good idea to get your own aftermarket SSD. All right, so we got those screws in and it's mounted like that. We're gonna go ahead and slot this back in. So you wanna make sure you don't lift it too high, just get it to where you can push it in. Okay, and then drop it in place. All right, there we go. Then we'll get the hard drive screw back. The M.2 SSD slot here actually comes with a little screw there. So if you do get an M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD, it has a screw. You don't even need to go buy one. And it's pretty good design. It's attached to this trackpad clicking button. So if anything breaks, you can replace that little piece. What else? I think that's pretty much it. There are, if I didn't mention, 2 RAM slots because a lot of people, I don't know, they can't count or they don't watch my video. So if you ask me how many RAM slots, I'll know you didn't watch my video. All right, I think that's about it. Oh, there's the fan connector there. Other than that, that's all there is to this. We are gonna now put this back together and power it back up and see if it boots. To clone the hard drive on this, I use a boot up software, and the computer is picky with the with Microsoft's new thing that they're doing with the secure boot. So if you're trying to boot from another external device and it doesn't work, you will have to turn secure boot off. All right. Anyways, to get this back in, just line it back up. Make sure you're not getting any connectors smashed, and then we can go ahead and just press it down. Just go around it like you're doing CPR on the computer. Okay, and there we go. All right, this we have to push down by hand manually, and I think we are good to go. So let's go ahead now and put the optical disk drive or CD drive back in, just like that. Slide it in, push it in all the way. Okay, and then we'll just get all these screws back in, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. Again, if it did, please make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. These are customer computers, so keep that in mind. By the time you see this video, I won't have this computer. So I wouldn't be able to open up and show anything else. And also, because they are customers' computers, I can't just be like taking things apart. It's very similar to like if you go in for surgery and then someone goes, oh, well, you did a heart transplant. Can you show how to do like a liver transplant too? Like the customer's not going to be happy if you start ripping into their their liver when they just came there for a heart transplant. So that's why I don't mess around and start taking apart extra stuff. Okay. It's not my computer, and if I damage other things, I'll be responsible for it, and customers don't want to be waiting extra time while I repair it. Even if I have the money and time to do it, they won't have the time for it. So, all right, let's go ahead and continue getting all these screws in, and we're pretty much done. You're welcome to stay. I'm gonna power the computer on and make sure it boots up. I'm probably going to have to change the BIOS settings back, so I'm going to change it back to turn secure boot back on, because after I cloned the drive, I didn't turn that back on yet. Okay, so we'll get all these screws back in, put the rubber feet in, get the battery back in, and other than that, that's it. All right, so we'll get this, line it back up. Usually I'll line up one corner first, just like that, and then we'll line up the other one, and then the center will get pushed down last. Okay, just like that. Same thing over here. Get the edge lined up. Oh, so I guess we'll do this edge first, and then we'll do this edge. Okay, and then push the middle. All right, I got this one. Just like that. This one. All right, and there we go. Get the battery back in. Very simple. Just line it up and then slide it in. Okay. Okay, maybe it's not simple. Go in. Okay. Oh, it has to. This one has to actually go in slightly at an angle, apparently. Okay, there we go. And then it drops in, and then you can push that and then lock the one on the left here. This one's spring loaded and automatically locks. If you pull it, it's gonna stay unlocked, so make sure you didn't do that, okay? I'm gonna flip this back over. Let's go ahead and open it up and turn it on. Oh man, I gotta get all these crumbs out of here. So let me clean this up real quick. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. And then one thing I forgot to mention is you wanna make sure to click all the clips back in. I already did it now, but basically go around, make sure all the gaps are closed up and click it all into place. All right, let's go ahead and power this up. Okay, computer is starting up, and actually I don't even need to turn secure boot on, but I probably should, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, let's drop this. Bye.